Shalom, this is Adessa Bath Sayawan, returning with a brand new study called The Beast of the Book of Revelation. Now we're taking a brief pause in the chapters. However, we're still in the book of Revelation, but we're doing a detailed study in these beasts. It is so important to know who these beasts are and what they represent. And because this is a very, very intense study, it is broken into three pieces: part 1, part 2, and part 3. Because we're going to look at detail. We're going to look at these beasts in detail so that we have the correct information so that we can understand the book of Revelation. I know many people, they already decided because of popular opinion that the beast spoken of in the book of Revelation is speaking of the false prophet and the anti-Messiah, they're both due to come, and the whore of Babylon, which everyone attributes to America. But really and truly, we have to get into the meat of the matter, because there are more beasts than just those few that are mentioned. And if we don't understand the big picture that Yahuwah is showing us through his eyes, we're not going to understand the book of Revelation. And we're not going to understand the end times. Now we have reached a pivotal point where we must understand the prophetic imagery describing the various beasts in the book of Revelation. Without knowing who and what these entities are, you will be led astray from the true knowledge of this book and the understanding that we are to be receiving from Abba Yah. Yahuwah described the beast using prophetic imagery that cannot be easily deciphered. You cannot find a definition of what these beasts are in a dictionary. You cannot know who they are in a concordance. Only by the interpretation and the revelation of Ruach HaKodesh will we understand what he saw. You can go into a dictionary and look up the word beast, and it will give you a generic definition for that word. But according to the book of Revelation, you will not understand what these beasts are. It is important to note that this was intentional. For it is not given to everyone to understand prophecies, the language of Ha'olah Yahweh. Hamashiach, when he spoke to the multitudes, he spoke to them in parables. When he was alone with his disciples, he explained the parables. And he also said that it is not for everyone to understand his parables. Only those that have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to perceive and understand, will they understand his parables. Same thing goes with prophecies. In order to understand the beast that Yahuwah saw, we must understand that he was witnessing our age-old enemy, the Satans. Yes, I said it, Satans, more than one, in the form of beasts, which were spiritual and at the same time their physical manifestations. Let me repeat that. We must understand that Yahuwah was witnessing our age-old enemy, or enemies, the Satans, in the form of beasts, which were spiritual So the imagery that he saw were spiritual. And at the same time, their physical manifestations. As we go into the scriptures, we will see and understand what I'm saying here. Now, there are a total of 5 Satans. We have been taught in the Christian church that there is only one Satan, but there are 5. But one is locked away until the time of the end. So right now, there are 4 running around, roaming the earth. All the chaos and confusion, wars and rumors of wars, all the things that you're seeing happening today is because they're here. The title Satan or Hashatan means adversary. And they are the accusers of our brethren. They're the ones that accuse us before the Father. But they've been cast down now. No more of that. And their days are numbered. And they know that. They are the leaders, chiefs of the fallen angels and Nephilim spirits. And they are organized just like an army. So who are these Nephilim spirits? Who are the Nephilim? The Nephilim were a hybrid breed of giants that roamed the earth. If you read the book of Genesis, chapter 6 tells you about them. Where the Watchers, the book of Hanawak as well, tells you about them. They came down from Mount Hermon, and they were persuaded to marry the women, the daughters of men. And that is a no-no, because they're of one species and we are of another. They are angelic and we are earthy. We're not expected, the Most High does not want us to mix ourselves. All right. But what they did is they created another species called the Nephilim. And they were giants. And they were extraordinarily wicked. And their fathers, the angels, taught them, along with the men and the women, all the secrets that they were not supposed to know. And because of that, their offspring created much wickedness, so much wickedness and bloodshed on the earth that the Most High sent the flood. When he sent the flood, of course, the angels can go into their abode, which is second heaven, can't go any higher. And they're cast down now from the heavens. But that's where they went. The people that were drowned, with the exception of 8 souls that were saved in the ark, along with the animals, the clean animals. And when I said clean, meaning that their DNA, the D-N-A-, got to be very cryptic here because of this algorithm on this platform. Their D-N-A- was not contaminated, so because he preserved them, they were saved on the ark. But the rest were killed. And those that were of the flesh, they have passed on along with their spirits waiting judgment. However, because the Nephilim were part human and part angel, there's no place for them to lock them away. The 200 because that's what it says in the book of Hanawak. Could be more. They're locked away in the abyss. We're going to see that later on in another chapter of Revelation. So they're locked away in the abyss because they broke a law that the Most High had given to them, which is to cohabitate with the flesh on the earth. They were not supposed to do that. So the Nephilim, they died, but their spirits could not go anywhere except to roam on the earth as evil spirits, as unclean spirits or familiar spirits. They're the ones that taunt us. They're the ones that aggravates us. They're the ones that bring anxiety and worry and lustful thoughts and greed, all these evil things that we experience. They're the ones who are responsible. They're the ones who plague you with nightmares and night terrors and hauntings. They're the ones. They're the ones that put thoughts in your head. They're the ones that carry out all the Satan's agendas, their temptations. And because they're half human and half angelic, they're not as powerful as their fathers, but they still have some power, evil power. But we can master them. Because once we are walking in the light, then we have power over them. So they're used as foot soldiers to carry out the little task, to go and listen, to hear what we are speaking. Then they take word back to the Satans, to their captains, to their leaders. That's how Satan knows what you're doing, day and night. And he gives orders, and they give orders to do whatever they can to corrupt you, to corrupt us, to make us fearful, to make us anxious, to make us depress and oppress. They're the ones that give the orders, but not outside the boundaries that the Most High has given to them. They cannot operate outside his boundaries where we're concerned. So let's take a look at the book of Hanawak, chapter 69, from verse 3, so we can have an understanding about who these Satans are. Once we know the Satans, then we will see and know their agenda. Agendas, plural. Now the book of Hanawak, chapter 69, verse 3, and these are the chiefs of their angels and their names, and their leaders over hundreds, and leaders over 50s, and leaders over 10s. That's an organization of an army. Verse 4, the name of the first, Jegon, that is the one who led astray the sons of Alahayam, who are the fallen angels, by the way, the watchers, and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. So these watchers were persuaded to leave their heavenly abode to come down to the earth to look upon the daughters of men. And you might think, well, there's nothing wrong with looking, because the Satans and their minions, they don't stop at just looking. If only it will stop at just looking, but then the thoughts come. And when the thoughts come, then the lust and the desires to follow the thoughts, that follows. Verse 5. And the second was named Asbiel. He imparted to the holy sons of Alahayam, these same ones that came down on Mount Hermon, evil counsel. So he gave them evil counsel and led them astray so that they defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. So one told them to come down and look at the women, and the next one told them, hey, you know what? You can go and marry them. Just let the men marry them. You can go and have them as wives, make babies. Wouldn't that be cool? Verse 6. And the third was named Gadriel. He's a dangerous one, by the way. It is he who showed the children of men all the blows of death. And he led astray Hawath. Hawath is Eve, but Eve is the pagan goddess that was put in the Bible to cause us, the children of Alahayam, to call on pagan gods. Her correct name is Hawath, not Eve. And showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield and the coat of mail and the sword for battle, and all the weapons of death to the children of men. And trust me, it was not limited to swords and bows and arrows. There was technology going in those days. The same technology that you see today was happening there and then. All the things that you see happening today was happening then. Remember what Hamashiach said, as in the days of Noah, and as in the days of Lot. So what was happening in the days of Noah, so it is happening today. So there's nothing new under the sun. All the technology that you see and you are so blown away by was happening then. All the dicing and the splicing and the mixing and the matching and the mingling, all of that was happening. They were creating their own hybrid breeds of animals, using their own DNA, D-N-A-. I'm sorry. I gotta be so careful. I already got censored, right? So that's what they do. That's what they did, and that's what they're doing today. So there's nothing new under the sun. So this one called Gadriel, keep your eye on his name, because his name is going to come up later on. And look at the things that he has done, what he has shown men to do. All weapons of death for whom? The children of men. Because these demons, these devils, these Satans, they all love blood, the shedding of blood in the most violent way, in the vilest way possible, because it empowers them to continue to control us. That's why the Most High has so many laws in his book for his people. Don't spill innocent blood. Do not kill. Do not tell falsehood. Do not commit adultery, because these are the things that empower these devils over you. But when you resist them and walk in the commandments, they have no power over you. But people don't want to hear that, because they want to hear, oh, you're under grace, so you are permitted to do whatever you want to do because grace covers you. Or if you make a mistake, it's okay if you keep repeating the same mistake because grace covers you. You don't have to repent of your sins, because once you say that first repentance prayer, then grace covers you. In the meantime, the devils are having a field day in your home, in your lives, and in the lives of those who are around you. And you wonder why you can't get over. You get over whatever the situation or situations are in your life. You're constantly being hammered to the ground, oppressed and depressed. You got to go to doctors to get psychotherapy and pills to make it through a day. When the Most High already told us what we need to do to control these demons, these devils, to keep them out of our lives. Once we keep them out of our lives, then they have nothing to work with. Nothing at all. And on top of that, now you are walking in the light and they have to stay far away from you unless the Most High lowers his protection, because now he's getting ready to promote you. And trust me, it will be something that you can handle. Verse 7, and from his hand they have proceeded against those who dwell on the earth from that day and forevermore. This devil, this Satan, is a dangerous one. They're all dangerous. They're all evil. They're all wicked. But this one is exceptionally wicked. Verse 8. And the fourth was named Penemu. He taught the children of men the bitter and the sweet. And he taught them all the secrets of their wisdom. And he instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper. Now, you might think we write with ink and paper. Is that evil? No, it is not evil. It is what they were writing, and for the purpose that they were writing it for. Hamashiach said, as in the days of Lot, when they were marrying and giving in marriage and eating and drinking. Now all those things were things that he gave to us. He allowed us to get married so that we can have children and be happy together, be a family. He wants us to eat and drink, otherwise we die. But it is not about the marriage, it is what what they were marrying. Men with men, women with women, animals, creatures, whatever. Marrying their own mother or their own father if it is a daughter. So all the things that he said in the law not to do, they were doing. All the things that they know that they were not supposed to do, they were doing. So in the same way, he instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper, and he was giving them secrets of their wisdom. So what do you think that is? That's witchcraft. They were teaching them witchcraft. They were teaching them how to cast spells and how to break spells. All these are things that they were teaching them to do. They were teaching them how to make concoctions so that the women, when they were pregnant, can have an abortion. They can miscarry the baby. They were also teaching them how to make liquors so they can get drunk. If you read the book of Adam and Hawa, it tells you about that. All these different apocryphal books are our history books that were taken out of our Bible. But all these things they taught them to do, because all these things, that the witchcraft, the concoctions, the potions, the spells, all these things are wickedness. And they bring you into the dark place where they are. Even drinking liquors, getting drunk and disorderly. That's why when people get drunk, they get stupid and they get disorderly. Why? Because the devils now have a playground to play with. He didn't tell us, the Most High didn't tell us not to drink wine, and there's alcohol in wine. But wine is something special. Wine is from him. That's his special drink for his people. But even that, we're not supposed to drink till we are so drunk that we don't know our own name. We don't know anything. But this is what these devils want us to do, because when we are out of order, they jump in and they take control of our lives. And the Most High, like, I don't want to share my vessel with these devils. There's not room enough for me and them. So when you disobey the Most High and you don't repent and you continue along that path, then he exits from your life, and now you have all these problems, all these devils and demons roaming inside of your life. And even sometimes inside of us. All right. Verse 10. And thereby many sinned. So let's read that over. Verse 9. And he instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper, and thereby many sinned from eternity to eternity and until this day. So because of the things that they were writing, it caused them to sin. Verse 10. For men were not created for the purpose of confirming their good faith with pen and ink. For men were created exactly like the angels, to the intent that they should continue pure and righteous, and death, which destroys everything, should not have taken hold of them. But through their knowledge they are perishing, and through this, the power of death consumes them. So you play with darkness, the demons will come, and there will be destruction in your life. You're bringing death upon yourself. Verse 12. And the fifth was named Kazdeja. This is he who showed the children of men all the wicked smitings, or the blows of spirits and demons, and the smitings of the embryo in the womb, that it may pass away. That's abortion. They're teaching the women how to kill the babies in the womb. Abortion is nothing new under the sun. And they know, these devils know, that when innocent blood is shed, and there's nothing more innocent than a baby in the womb, it empowers them. And you know the sad thing is that now, because this topic of abortion is big in the world today, what do you think they do with the remains of these unborn children? They put them back in the food and feed it to you. That's what they do. These are some wicked people in this world that we're living in, that we're sharing our space with. Wicked, wicked people. And the smitings of the soul, the bites of the serpent, that's poisons. So this particular Satan was teaching death, just like Gadriel. And the smitings which befall through the midday heat. So now it's teaching how to use torture by staking out people in the sun, using poisons from snakes. the son of the serpent named Tabaeth. Now, here's the thing. Because deja, I believe this particular fifth Satan would have been Azazel. You know, they mix up our books, took things out, put things in, changed things around. This is the problem with the book of Revelation. They moved around the chapters and the verses, especially the parts where they could do it, because they couldn't change around the sequence of the seals, or the sequence of the trumpets, or the sequence of the vials, but everything else they tried to move around. And of course, they couldn't change around the very ending when it was all over. But the stuff in the middle, they've moved around. And that's why people are so confused about this book, the book of Revelation. And this Kadijah sounds a lot like Azazel, which we will read in the next slide. And Azazel is in chapter 2 of the same book of Hanukkah. Let me repeat that. The Azazel is mentioned in the book of Hanukkah, chapter 69 in verse 2, with a whole bunch of other leaders of the angels. A third fell. And the third that fell, they were not put in the abyss because they did not mate with the daughters of men. It was only the 200 that were persuaded to do this. And let me allow me to say this. The reason why the Satans pushed these angels to do this is because they were building their armies. They knew that they were outnumbered. They were only a third. In the heavens, there were 2/3. Then they know that the Most High has his army on the earth, which will be his chosen people. So what they wanted to do is to build their army. And how did they build their army? By causing the angels to go and marry the daughters of men and have children. They knew that the Most High will reject them because they were hybrids. Anything that's a hybrid, the Most High rejects because he did not create it. He will not accept it. Okay, the word smiting, according to the Webster Dictionary, has a twofold meaning. It means to kill or severely injure, or to affect as if by striking, as in being smitten. So when he's talking about the wicked smitings or the blows of spirits and demons, he's not talking about killing them. No. What he's inferring here is that if you want to conjure up these evil spirits and demons, you have to do it by smitings. All right? If you want to bring these evil entities into your presence because you're smitten by them, and smitten here is not being hit. When someone is smitten by something, it means that they love it. They have a great liking for it. So now, these men, because they're so wicked, just like the Nephilim and the fallen angels, they're smitten by demonic activity. So they have to do their own smitings in order to bring these spirits and demons into their presence. And we know that this happens. We know this, these satanic rituals that you've heard about. The sacrifices, the blood that must be shed. Because the more grotesque the deed is that you've done, the more you will win this demon or devils, these devils or demons, into this realm and into the presence of the person and even into their bodies. Because a lot of these satanic worshipers, they want to be possessed. That is the ultimate for them. And so that they have to carry out certain things. They have to do certain rituals. Evil, demonic rituals. In order to cause these entities, these devils, to come into this realm and even into their bodies. The more grotesque it is, the vilest thing that they can do is to do it with a child. Torment a child and then kill it. I've read and heard some accounts of these things, and I wish I could unhear them. But it is real, and it is happening. It has been happening for a very long time. We are reading the accounts in the book of Hanawat, who was on this earth thousands of years ago. And if it was happening all the way back then, think about now. Evil is becoming so ripe that it has covered this entire earth with a black, filthy, smelly, wet blanket. And it's getting darker by the day. But there's only so far that they can go. Because we have been told about a plan. The purpose of Hamashiach. He is allowing them to run rampant right now because there will come a time when he himself will put them to a stop. And not only will he stop them, but he will destroy them too. So this is only going on for a short period of time. It may feel like a long time to us, but trust me, before the Most High, it's not a long time. But their end is near, and it's nearer than we first believe. The time for our regathering is so close. These verses give the names of the 5 Satans, and although Azazel was mentioned in the previous group found in verse 2, as you can see from the verse below, he was bound and locked away. He taught men how to make weapons of war, to wage war against each other, and how to dress as women. He is reserved for the end times judgment of Allah-Hayam, like the other fallen angels, as he will be used for his purpose. So he's locked away separately from the group, the watchers that married women. And he is the one that should have been, this name in verse 12, Kazdeja. That should have been Azazel. But we know that they have been trying to deceive us, even by switching things around, but it's okay. Ruach HaKodesh will tell us what is truth and what is rearranged and how to put it back in its correct order. We don't have to worry about what they have done. They can do whatever they want to do. They've done whatever they want to do, but not forever. Now the book of Hanawat chapter 8 verse 1, and Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, similar to Gadriel. They're two violent Satans. They're all violent. But these ones, they want to teach men how to make weapons to kill each other. And taught them about metals of the earth and of the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony and the beautifying of the eyelids. That's makeup. And all kinds of precious stones. That's crystals. how to use crystals to conjure up spirits, and all coloring and dyes, how to beautify your body. Now, the beautifying of eyelids, I've always said this and I will keep saying this: makeup was not created for women. No, it was not. Women are created with their own feminine beauty. It's only the foolish ones that look at the people on the television, those actresses with their pancake makeup, they want to look like them. But what they don't know are the so-called women that they're looking at on television are mostly men in drag. That's why they have to wear that much makeup. If they didn't wear the makeup, then you will definitely see that they're not women. That's why they have to go for these extreme surgeries. And we have women going out there getting the same extreme surgeries because they want to look like them. Why do you think in the 30s? You see, this has been going on for a very long time. A very, very, very long time. Men dressing like women. Why do you think in the 30s they introduced the shoulder pads and the pencil skirt? That was to hide the fact that a lot of those women that were starring in those black and white movies and television shows were men dressed like women. If you doubt me, go on. There was one called Greta Garbo, I believe. Confess and say, I'm a man. All the ones that you thought were women were men. So even way back then, they go and they take the ribs out so they can have a smaller waist, which will give them an illusion of hips. But they were men. They were men. And even the ones on the television today, the ones that you call them idols, stars. Yeah, as in fallen angels and pagan idols. They're all men. No one makes it in Hollywood unless they're given that place. You can't come from a little village with a dream and claim that you're going to make it in Hollywood. There's no way. Hollywood was not created to help people from the village to become stars. They already have their own stars. They're fallen angel stars that they've created and placed in position on the television sets. Now they call them influencers, social media influencers. And they all have a purpose, which is to mislead the masses. And that's why we have women walking around with pancake makeup and extensions and doing all sorts of surgeries on their bodies so that they can look like those creatures. Even some of our own women. Makeup was not created for women. They were created for men so that men can look like us. We can walk around without makeup and look like a woman. They cannot. And then worse yet, they put on the makeup to lure men to them, to cause men to lust after them. for some time, I used to follow certain people that would break down these actors and actresses, and I start to learn about the physical body of a man versus a woman, the Q angle, all these different things that I started learning. And once I've learned, now I can look at, I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely a man. Oh, that is definitely a woman. Woman dressed like a man and a man dressed like a woman. It's so easy now because of all the surgeries and the hormone blockers, all the different things that they have out there to cause people to change. That's why it's not safe to even look upon someone and say, "Ooh, she's looking fine or he's looking fine," because you don't know who you're looking at. You don't know who you're looking at. Heard so many stories, sad stories about it. Makeup was not created for women. So if you're a woman and you like wearing makeup, I will suggest very strongly for you to toss that stuff in the garbage. If you have a little powder to take the shine off, that's fine. But that heavy makeup that you gotta put on, and you gotta put layers upon layers, so you want to get that shine and that glow and that gloss going, that's absolutely ridiculous. We already have our own shine. All that eye makeup and the putting in the fake eyebrows, all that is utter nonsense, utter garbage. And then when you look at yourself, you look just like them. You look just like them. And that's not a nice way to look, because you're no longer looking like a woman. You look like some pancake doodle. Someone painted on this person's face. The feminine beauty is an awesome, beautiful thing if you leave it alone. Wash your face. Make sure your skin is nicely clean. You can give it a nice little buff, and you have that natural shine. And you know what? You don't even need to do much. You just need to get into the word of the Most High. You need to pray. You need to worship. You need to get into to fasting and getting into all the wholesome stuff, and you will naturally shine. Let me tell you something, right? One day I was walking down the street, and this has been happening to me over and over and over again. All right? I'm walking down the street. And as I'm walking down the street, because I'm not living in North America now, all right? This young lady, she's coming towards me. I'm speaking on my phone, recording a message for a friend. And I notice that she's watching me, and she's looking at me, and she's smiling. And you know what she said to me? She said, "Hello." Limited English, because that's not her first language. "What is your name?" They know how to ask that. I told her. You know what she said to me? And this is me at my roughest. You can't get any rougher than, She said, "You are so beautiful." And I was a little taken back because, I rushed out, throw some things on, throw a hat on my head, and I'm down the road. And she looked at me and she said, "You are so beautiful." And I was like, okay, well, definitely she's seeing the glow in me. Right? And that's how it is with so many people. As I'm walking by, they're stopping me left, right. I'm like, okay, not that I take it personally. I give all the glory to the Most High. But when you spend time with the Most High, you can't help but emanate beauty. That beauty that they trick you into believing is only pancake deep. It's only on the surface. When you wash that surface off, all you're going to see is this ugly person. Ugly. But when you have the light in the of the Most High shining from within you, shining outward, when you are in His presence, you can't help but be beautiful. I wasn't even wearing any nice clothes either. I just wanted to run to the shops quickly and get my groceries and come back. But a young child, she wasn't that young, she was probably about 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. And there are a whole bunch of them. Every time they see me, they want to stop me and talk to me and say hi to me and tell me how beautiful I look. like, like they don't understand much English. So it's not like, we've have a conversation and they like, oh, you're such a beautiful person, like, because of the words you speak. But they see something. They see something that they don't see, not even in themselves. Well, I shouldn't say in themselves. I mean, if you understand what I'm saying, mean in their own people. For them to stop a stranger to say that is something unusual for them, in other words. Because they're a different culture. They have a different worship from who I worship. All right? Okay, let's move on. So this is what these devils do. Cause you to change who you are, change from the image of the Most High, how He has created us to look, to become the image of Satan and his minions. He has his agents out there pushing man and woman into the darkness. Because that's where the Satans are, that's where the devils and the demons are, and that's where we will be plagued, in the darkness. I don't think you have power over them in the darkness. You only have power over them when you are in the light. The book of Hanukkah, chapter 10, verse 4. And again, Yahweh said to Raphael, Raphael is one of the archangels, bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the darkness and split open the desert, which is in Dudael, and cast him in. All right. So he said, bind Azazel. Why did he tell him to do that? Because he taught men some extremely wicked things. The others did bad things too. But this one went one step further and introduced what? Yeah, men to be women and women to be men. Okay. Verse 5, and fill the hole by covering him with rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him live there forever. Forever there does not mean forever and ever and ever, but a long time, because later on he says here, and cover his face that he may not see light, and on the day of the great judgment he shall be hurled into the fire. So it could not be forever and ever. It just means a very long time until we are ready to judge him. But before he is judged and thrown into the fire, which is the lake of fire, he is going to be released on the earth again. Yes, he will. Now we know that there are a total of 5 Satans minus 1 for now. The 4 in the meanwhile are and will be seen in their many demonic activities in the world today. Why do you think so much wickedness is happening today? 20 years ago, and I'm being conservative here, 20 years ago, the things that you see happening today would not have been happening then, could not have happened then. They had to wait out first a certain generation to die out, like our parents. They had to wait for the technology to be ushered in, right? And they have to wait for the indoctrination of the young ones through the educational system. All right? They had to wait us out. But now everything is in place. All the pieces of this wicked machinery are in place, and it is slowly revving up. All right? Now, the Satans are not like Allah who is omnipresent. They cannot be everywhere all at once. They utilize each other, the other fallen angels, and the offspring of the washers called the Nephilim, or unclean spirits. And they work strategically trying to destroy and corrupt mankind through their evil agendas. Specifically, the 12 tribes of Yashraal. Everything that you see happening, past, present, and future, is to try to destroy us. They want to destroy us. All right? They want to destroy us because they know that we are chosen, and the Satans know that the glorious garment that was once theirs, especially the one particular one that was once his, is given to us. The glory that was once theirs belonged to us. All right? And for that, they hate us. They hate the offspring of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And they know that once He, the Most High, starts to regather us, then their playtime is over. Their demonic activities will come to an end and they will be cast into the lake of fire. So what they're trying to do now, they're trying to prevent the regathering, and they're trying to corrupt and destroy us as quickly as they can, or corrupt us so much that we will be rejected by the Most High. That's what they're trying to do. It's all about us. It's not about the other nations. The other nations are in their pockets because they serve the sun, the moon, and the stars and the works of their hands. But Yashra'al serves the Most High, Allah. Yahweh Allah Hamashiach, and Rawak HaKadosh. That's who we serve. We're the only ones that serve the true and living Allah. Even the ones that call on JC, our so-called brethren, by the way, that still call on Christ, still call on Jesus, still call on God and Lord, they're lost too. They're not calling on the Most High. They're calling on the fallen. But the devil is still going to have a field day with them because he hates them. He hates us more than he even hates the other people. And that's why he takes his time to torment us and to torture us. Look at look at what has happened to us throughout the generations. The massacres, the killings, the killing of our babies, the torturings, all the evil that has been done against us for generations, because we are hated. And that hatred is passed on to the other nations against us. Look at what they call us, the N-word. And they have nothing nice to say about us because they hate us. Even the ones that pretend they like us, deep down inside, they still hate us. You see, and this hatred they cannot explain. They cannot explain why they have a dislike for us. It's because we're different. We've always been different. We were born different. We've been born set apart. Even though we were born in sin, we're still born set apart. Until we come to the realization and the understanding of who we are, and we can make an informed decision whether we want to continue on that wicked path or turn and change our ways, because we are given a choice and return to the Father and receive our inheritance. But we're still different, even if we're wicked. That's why they hate us. To start with the basics of understanding the beast and the Satans of Revelation, we have to go back to the book of Daniel to look at several images that he saw in his visions. An angel explained what Daniel saw, and this also gives us insight as to the beast in the book of Revelation. Please note that the book of Daniel is closely tied to the book of Revelation, and even Hamashiach referred to the book of Daniel when speaking about the end times.